Congressman, we're just talking about the Gaza issue, which has been escalating. We know that Mariana's for Palestine has delivered a letter here. Have you met with the group, or what have conversations looked like with the local residents who are concerned about what's happening in Gaza?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, I met last week with Mr. Yunus Salam. Throughout this, especially starting in October 7, right? And the things happening in Gaza right now. The late Abed Yunus was probably the first, and I don't know, but he may be the only Palestinian that I know here. And I met Mr. Yunus when I was a young man. I find that what he founded here, the Mariana's variety, it's something I go to every day, even if when I used to drive down just to buy the paper at 4 a.m. So it's not like I was, oblivious to everything that's happened. I think we should, here's my issue. One of my issues, Tomas, is our government, the United States government, has publicly set red lines. If Israel passes this is what. And Netanyahu has passed over those red lines on many occasions, several times, including the latest one in Rafah. We can't continue to do that. The United States cannot continue to do that. I wrote a letter to the Department of State and Department of Defense, the two agencies in the LIHIAC and in the National Security Memorandum that have to review the evidence and certify or not certify continuing military aid to the State of Israel. We provide military aid to the State of Israel because we are allies. We need the State of Israel there in that area in our best interests. But there's a law that says we can't do that. And I think, in my opinion, we have come through that point where we should cut all military aid to Israel until Netanyahu. I don't know what to do with Netanyahu. He's been around for 30 years? All of this suffering now is because of the terrorist organization. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and Netanyahu. The people of Israel right now may be supporting their prime minister because it's a war. But we should step back. Too many people have died. Rafah is about 3 times as large as Saipan. And, growing up, I remember my parents, especially my dad and my mom, and there's pictures and other relatives about how they had to flee and run up to the mountains. And then they had to flee again and go north to Makpi, that, San Juan area, and because they had to escape the war. What's going on now is that people no longer can escape because they don't know where to go. Some people have been relocated 10 times or 8 times, after notice from Israel. And so they move only to be either dead, killed, or have to relocate again for their safety. No food is coming in. Very little food is coming in, and medicine are coming in. And we, the United States, worked very hard to get Egypt to agree to open that Rafah border. That's one of the reasons we don't want Rafah, a problem in Rafah. But when we just about got that agreement from Egypt, Israel blocked the entrance, the crossing from the Gaza side, to not allow food, medicine, drinking water to come in for these people. I don't know how we as a people can justify that. October 7, yes, blame on all those terrorists. That's an atrocious act. But we cannot allow that to shield everything else. It's painful to us. I have very close friends in Congress who happen to be Jewish. I have friends in Congress who happen to be unapologetic Zionists. And I talk to them. Just as I talk to those who are, our one member, Palestinian member, Rashida. Yeah, the people so.
And there's also been some argument over the United States acknowledging how the United States describes what's happening in Gaza. Some say conflict, others say war.
Not too much.
Some say genocide. How would you describe it, and do you think there's a genocide happening in Gaza?
There has been tens of thousands of people, children, women, even up to the elderly, right? Unnecessarily killed. We see, and since it all started, the killing started. I'm not going to call it that word you use, but the killing started. And we see the number of death grow. And we feel, oh man, But at the same time, we see the suffering from hunger, malnutrition, lack of medicine. Tomas, I think I understand that all CT scans and those kind of medical devices throughout Gaza has been destroyed. Some by just direct weapon fire. But all of those, and we see the suffering, and you see photos, you can't avoid these things. You see photos of children suffering. You see photos of people running to the convoy trucks to get us food as much as they can for their families, because they have all of this hunger, this starvation. Those people right now in Gaza who are suffering, this is an ugly term to use, but they are the lucky ones, Tomas. There are over 30,000 unlucky people. Children, women, the elderly, many, many innocents killed.
I know in our previous interview you said you support a two-state solution. Is that still your stance on the path forward?
Yes, it's the only path that's potentially feasible, doable also. It's going to take a lot of time and money and partnership with the state of Israel, with Saudi Arabia. That's where we're starting this thing, besides to block South Iran. But yeah, I still think it's feasible. I have a preferred one, but I don't think it's feasible.
What is that?
The preferred one is that open up one state, call it State of Israel, but give as much right to Palestinians citizens as you do to citizens who happen to be Jew. and let them live in a community. They'll be like, here we have exchange of ideas. We argue ideas and we support causes, but that's leave it to politics. Too many people have died, and is that possible? Yes, that's, I think, the only one right now that's potentially doable in the long term. But we need an immediate ceasefire, Tomas, and we need it